All right, we are back with Controlled Chaos, Episode 2, Host Meet. With us today, we have Adam Steele of Pinnacle Strength and Performance. How's the performance? Had a look at time. Then, of course, we have Clay on my side.
What's going on, guys?
So, just to kind of get into it, Adam, why don't you talk about your company, why do you name it, what you name it, and what you kind of do?
Yeah, so my wife and I own Pinnacle Health and Performance, and I've been in the industry for a number of years now, but, essentially got tired of answering to people whose only focus was making money, to the point where patient care became, it took a backseat to everything else, and I have the opposite philosophy when it comes to doing things. I think you take really good care of patients and everything else works out. So we decided to branch off and do our own thing, and been open for a little over 2 years now. And just Pinnacle meaning the top of optimization, human performance, just maximizing and enjoying life as much as you can.
I like it.
So when you're out in public, what do you normally tell people? Like if you're wearing Pinnacle Health gear and stuff, and they ask, "Oh, what's Pinnacle Health?" What's your go-to to tell people what it is?
Yeah, I tell people we own a telemedicine clinic that specializes in hormone replacement therapy, growth hormone therapy, peptide therapy, weight loss, sexual health, hair loss, and injury prevention and recovery. Those are all the big areas that we hit.
Okay. You know what's crazy? When I wear your stuff and someone approaches me, I literally just say they make you feel like you, and they basically will go through all of your testing to make sure that you are able to get back to yourself.
Yeah. Right. So when, what's their go-to as far as how do they normally perceive what you're saying to them as what is it? Drugs? Yeah. What's their answer? It's oh, so you sell drugs.
It honestly depends on who it is, or at least the demographic that's asking.
Yeah.
The younger demographic asks, about legal steroids, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
The older demographic has no idea what I'm talking about. We get a lot of, when I mention weight loss, we get a lot of questions about Ozempic or Wegovy, or, the GLP-1 agonists that are so popular for weight loss right now. I get people that, do you do Ozempic? Yeah, we do semaglutide. It's a generic version of it. So that's one of the biggest questions we get, just because it's so incredibly popular and widespread these days.
Is there even a such thing as a legal steroid? Because I remember we talked about this before, off camera, that there is for testing or researching purposes only, but people are still just taking it.
Yeah. So, the question I get asked all the time is, is testosterone a steroid? And it's kind of a difficult question to answer, because it kind of breaks into several parts. Obviously, testosterone is considered a steroid hormone. Generally, when most people are talking about quote unquote steroids, they're talking about either other compounds or taking much higher doses of testosterone than we normally use for hormone replacement therapy purposes.
Still the fun ones like Anabard, Trenbolone, and all of those, D-ball.
Yeah. So we work with testosterone, nandrolone, which more commonly known as DECA. We use that for joint pain, joint lubrication a lot, and then oxynandrolone, Anavar, is very, very popular for lean muscle mass, and because of its effects on the cortisol cascade, it's a pretty good fat burner as well. So, but we hear SARMs. People ask about SARMs, and the way SARMs were originally marketed were, they're the benefits of steroids without the side effects or without the shutdown, and it's completely untrue. I've read so many people, blood work from so many patients that have been taking SARMs and I just don't feel right anymore, and they're completely shut down. Their testosterone levels have disappeared because you're messing with your androgen receptors. The SARMs will absolutely shut you down and lower your natural testosterone production. So that's a big one that we get questions about, or at least have to play cleanup with, because of how they were marketed originally and still are to a certain extent. You get people that come to you that have been taking these things and they were told it wouldn't affect their natural testosterone production, but they're completely shut down, and we have to get them, back to being them, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So, first time I heard about SARMs was probably high school. Other than that, I don't think we ever really talked about steroids, even in health class. I mean, going to college, we danced around certain things, but they also know that you're going to be getting tested. So as a student athlete, you can't mess with hardly anything. Even most pre-workouts, they told us to stay away from.
I think thinking about it, like growing up in high school, I would think that like our health teachers, they felt like it was touchy, and they didn't really want to. Where is that? Wait, is that our music? Wow.
Is that a mattress store?
It is. It's crazy.
Nick, will they hear this on the podcast?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's thumping in my headphones, man.
If you can hear it, that has to be wild.
That's crazy.
All of us are nodding to the beat.
Yeah, I was literally like, as I was getting my question going, I'm like, oh, what's this?
I thought someone was tapping. Like, that's what it sounded like, because Ryan taps everything. You get that ADHD.
Yeah.
You tapping.
Yeah. Well, what I was saying is, I think in high school, do you feel that they didn't want to have those conversations with us? Like, really want to touch on steroids because they felt that if we were to gain too much information at the time, then they would think that we would just go right into it at that much of a young age? Or
my high school stuff, they banned C4, the pre-workout. They said that there was like steroids in that.
I do.
They banned creatine for a while.
Yeah.
I thought creatine legitimately was part of a steroid for a while.
They banned creatine?
Swear.
So I was never, and like in high school, I just kind of just did whatever like workouts I did for sports or whatever. So I was never really like looking into workout or anything like that. So I didn't. Wow. Creatine that's crazy.
Yeah, like they would do the drug test for, of course, like marijuana or something, but like they would always be like, oh, well, if you take creatine, it's going to pop too. And it's like, well, what the hell is creatine?
That's crazy.
But I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
Because you can't discuss something like that and not, the first question people are going to ask is, what happens if you take them? You can't not mention the increase in muscle mass and athletic performance,
right,
or anything like that. And yeah, you can go through all the downsides and the dangers of it, but a bunch of teenagers, they're going to hear increased muscle mass and athletic performance, and then, selectively not hear the rest of that, the dangers and drawbacks.
Yeah. No matter what, as a kid, when you first hear steroids, you learn that it's illegal, and that you're taught that it's illegal, and that you're taught that it's bad for you, and that it's a no-no. Yeah.
I mean,
that's how I saw it growing up.
When you first hear steroids growing up, I mean, you're looking at like Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the big action heroes. Like, oh, that's how they got that big.
Yeah,
that's about it.
But I think
Barry Bonds.
I guess it just depends on like who was teaching it to you. Because again, for me growing up, like I was taught that like Sylvester Stallone and all of them that they were on, like, first they were on steroids, but that's the first thing that you learned, that they were on steroids. So it's like they're putting the spell so that they were on steroids, and then you talk about their accomplishments. But you have to start off with by saying that these talented and famous people are on steroids, and that's how it's like you're taught that they were on steroids, and that's how they got all their accomplishments.
I mean, that's just how it is now. Like you said, with the mainstream of it, is you hop on TikTok, you're seeing a kid who's 17 pulling 800 pounds, and he's like, yeah, I'm on Tren. And it's like, well, I don't even know where to buy Tren.
Right.
You go on Google. There you go. There's the rabbit hole.
But I think times are different now, because it's just so much out there now that it's like the go-to where it's like, okay, they're on Tren. Dang, okay, dang. It's kind of like, dang, I wish I was on Tren.
Think about it. There's a whole influencer brothers called the Trend Twins.
Who I just started watching. I love them. They're
You see, there you go.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with that. I'm talking about like with me growing up now. Like it's completely different now because I'm not the best educated on everything, but just from learning and just from seeing just how everything is now, I understand it because I've learned that it's a safe way to do it and it's a smart way to go about it.
I mean, what are some negatives to Trend, and then are there any positives to Trend? I feel like there's nothing but negatives.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of red flags and negatives. I can tell you that. You know, the benefits obviously. So each androgen or anabolic steroid has a anabolic and androgenic rating. Anabolic meaning tissue building, androgenic meaning causing male characteristics, and testosterone is the benchmark. So it's 100 on both scales. Trend is 500 on both scales. So it's 5 times as anabolic and 5 times as androgenic as testosterone. But I mean, you can go through the gamut of potential side effects from, I mean, you can literally start lactating as a guy. The 19 derivatives, like Trend and Nasonex can, in high doses, can cause your prolactin levels to skyrocket, and you can literally start lactating as a guy. But you know, then you're talking about trend cough, night sweats, aggression and anger issues.
It's a trend cough.
It's a common side effect when someone injects Trend. You can they don't really know what causes it. They think it's something to do with your prostaglandins, but immediately you feel like your lungs are being filled with concrete. Like you'll cough for 20 minutes. It's a horrible experience.
Why would anyone do this?
Yeah, it's a whole lot of red flags and negatives. I mean, and honestly, Trend is it's so anabolic, but at the same time, it will destroy your heart, it will destroy your cholesterol, it will destroy all these different things, and it's just, you know, you're in a lot of ways you're giving up longevity and your overall health for, you know, a temporary gain of performance or size or whatever you're going for.
So like a compound with like Anavar, that's mainly the benefits mainly benefit women. Is that still on the same scale?
No, oxandrolone we actually use quite a bit, both in males and females. Lean muscle mass. In females, we noticed that there's a lot of females that were like, even with females that have low testosterone levels, they respond better to low dose oxandrolone than they do like a testosterone cream. But in guys, you get an increase in muscle mass. The other big area that we use oxandrolone is people that have super high SHBG levels, sex hormone binding globulin. So if someone has super high SHBG, they're going to have a much lower percentage of free testosterone. Like I've literally seen blood work where, you know, somebody may have a total testosterone level of 800 or 900, but because their SHBG levels are so high, their free test is 6 or 7. And, you know, their free test is in the drain because their SHBG is too high. So SHBG is a carrier protein that binds to testosterone, estradiol, and DHT and makes them unavailable for use. Mm. And so one of the byproducts, I don't want to say side effects of Anavar, but one of the effects it has is it will greatly lower your SHBG levels. And so we can use it in males that have high SHBG levels in order to free up some more testosterone. Because like I said, I see guys that have really good total testosterone levels, but if your free test is in the toilet, it doesn't matter what your total level is. So,
well, since we're already talking about blood work, let's talk about mine, since I just had that done.
Dog shit.
I mean, some background. I told Adam a while back that in college I felt basically godlike. I'm running miles and miles a day. I could do sprints. I'm lifting weights. I damn near have abs. I'm 230 pounds as a linebacker. Come to Richmond, that shit just free falls.
Yeah, blame it on Richmond.
It's the cesspool. In the mountains where I'm from, that was good air. But anyway,
you're not lying about that. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you can talk about this better, Adam, since you explained it to me. Just kind of some of the things you noticed in my lab work.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of things to be happy about.
Hold on. What was the first thing that you texted Sean?
Oh, his testosterone level was crap.
You hear that? I'm still stronger than most motherfuckers out there.
Yeah, I said that. I said it makes your success even more impressive.
Yeah.
Total testosterone of 233. I mean, that's low by anybody's standards. You know, a lot of times, a lot of the cases that we deal with are guys that are, you know, in the upper 300, lower 400, sometimes even 500 range. You know, I think that the textbook definition of low testosterone is 300 nanograms per deciliter or below. But guys are symptomatic of low T way before they get to that point.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of doctors will treat it as this black and white line. Like, hey, if you're at 301, you're good. But as soon as you get 300, you're in trouble. Obviously, it's not like that. It's a gradual decline over time. And you also have to remember it matters what your testosterone levels were earlier in life. You know, when you were 18, in your early 20s, if your total testosterone was, you know, sitting right around 1,000, and all of a sudden now you're, you know, in the 400s, you feel like crap. Versus somebody that's been at 600 or 650, 700 their whole life, they get to 400 and it's not as much of a change for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, 233 is low by anyone's standard. So, outside of that,
You said good things, Clay.
you're, you know, you had a lot of good things. Your SHBG levels were low, which means you have a higher percentage of free testosterone. Your IGF-1 was good. So IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1, is our benchmark for growth hormone. So growth hormone is something you won't really ever see on a blood test. Your body releases it in these sharp pulses throughout the day. If you don't physically draw somebody's blood during a pulse, it comes back as 0. IGF-1 is directly correlated and stays consistent over time. So that's our gauge as far as growth hormone levels go. So if someone has good growth hormone levels, generally their IGF-1 is going to be pretty good. If their IGF-1's crap, their growth hormone's usually crap too. So your levels are pretty good there. You had a pretty good cholesterol panel too. I mean, your total cholesterol was 170. Triglycerides were 85. So total, we try to keep below 200, and triglycerides we try to keep below 150. So those numbers looked pretty good. Your vitamin D was god awful, but
yep.
I told you 98% of all new clients that we talk to have horrible vitamin D levels.
Don't make no fucking jokes. See what they're smirking. Wait till your lab's done.
I promise you, I'm not as cooked as you.
You should find out.
You know, we just started. So Jordan and I have been bullying Sean to actually start tracking just the basics, just tracking his macros, actually eating enough throughout the day. Because I started being with Sean every day for from basically 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. most days throughout the week. You start to pay attention to things. And I'm like, it starts to get to the point where I'm like, Sean really don't be eating like that. So I tell you not, throughout the days, he has these days where I swear, I'll watch it. I know for a fact he only eats one meal throughout the day, because it would be the days where you deadlift. I think those days when you would deadlift, you would order first watch in the morning, and it would be like a stack of pancakes. Right?
Yeah.
It would be a stack of those pancakes, and then I would not see you eat anything else for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And then, so it's another thing that he does. I don't know. I forget which day this is, but he won't eat breakfast, but it will be lunch, and he will get 2 packets of white rice that he gets from, what is it, Costco?
Yep.
Yeah, the big thing is 2 packets of rice from Costco, and then he orders what is it?
3 12 counts of the grilled nuggets.
3 12 counts of the grilled nuggets, and he puts it in the bowl, and he eats that.
The macros smack.
And but that's his only meal for the day.
No,
He doesn't eat anything else.
No. So Jordan bullied me into just finding out what I needed to eat and everything.
Mhm.
And since then, I have been eating way better.
You have. I'm talking. Yeah, you have. I will say
actually
that.
do have a meal every single day. Like breakfast is a little funny, but like
No, I know.
lunch
I'm just
dinner
saying-
always happened.
No, but I'm just saying before, like I would start to actually pick up and look and just watch. I'm like, they always calling me a fat ass because I pack my breakfast, I pack my lunch, and I pack my snacks because I'm here all day. And I know I got to eat throughout the day. But one, at least I'm getting my meals in. But you're horrible. Also, you know what else he does? He does this stupid shit. This is what he does too. Instead of being on the way here and just picking up First Watch, you know what he does? He's on his way here. He Uber Eats his First Watch food and gets it delivered here to where it can be as soon as he walks in and like 5 minutes in, it's getting delivered.
Check this out.
So Sean,
It's complete opposite direction from the gym, and it is perfect timing. It takes them 20 minutes to make them.
do you realize you can
after I drop past them off in the morning?
But you can say you can save at least probably 15. You can probably save at least like $15 if you just decide to just pick it up.
So if
on the way here,
or an Uber Eats rewards member, I don't pay for delivery. I pay that yearly subscription, and I'm covered for the year. You know what I do? I tip nice. I keep people in work.
You know what? I'm broke. That's all I hear.
No, it's not. You guys pay him for your freaking media packages.
That's like God. That's just mind blowing to me. Because you literally do this with everything. Instead of just because if I'm getting like kava or if I'm getting something, 9 times out of 10, I never want to do Uber Eats or anything like that.
I want to keep working.
Go up there. I
never want to stop what I'm doing because then it's like, well, I have to restart the task again.
Okay, yeah, I don't feel that way. I'll leave y'all in a heartbeat. If it's some kava, yeah, I'm gone.
No, I want to keep working, finish whatever task I'm on. So I'll definitely get something delivered. In that meantime, I'll just do what I need to do.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, Sean, he didn't eat for shit at the beginning, but now he's on the shit.
Bullying
How many
children.
excess calories he has stored in them calves?
Yeah, like yeah,
It's like a cornmeal just
yeah,
opening up and just falls out.
yeah.
Go over the negatives now.
Well, I talked about your vitamin D being terrible. Yeah, so your testosterone level was low, your DHEA was low.
How low can you go?
For the most part, your fasted glucose and blood sugar was good. That's important. Your kidney markers were pretty good. Your liver markers were all spot on. Now your HDL was 37, which we try to keep above 40, and that's mostly affected by cardiovascular activity.
So you're saying I need to do cardio?
Yeah, do
you know what kind of gym you're in right now?
I do.
Do you know what sport this is? What platform you were on?
How long it took us to get those little ass equipment over there.
Members bitching for 10 months for that.
And we kept telling them, y'all don't need cardio.
Proven wrong by science once again.
Yep.
Outside of that, your levels look pretty good. But yeah, the 233 total testosterone makes everything you're doing even more impressive.
So what would be the steps to correct this?
So you and I talked about this a little bit because of your powerlifting and competing. And so one of the products that we love using is enclomiphene, which can greatly raise natural testosterone levels. It's one of my favorite medications. People like it, one, because it's not an injection. And so many people are, they're so scared of needles, and it's like, it's really not that bad. But enclomiphene is a once-a-day capsule, but it's a really cool medication. It's a selective estrogen receptor modulator, and it basically what it does is you have estrogen receptors in your brain and your hypothalamus that monitor the amount of circulating estrogen in your system, and basically it in a way adjust the quote-unquote thermostat as far as your hormone production. And so enclomiphene will bind to those estrogen receptors and blind them, kind of like putting a lens cap on a camera.
Mm-hmm.
Your body's response it freaks out. It's like, where did all the estrogen go? It needs to make more. Well, your body makes estradiol from testosterone. And so your hypothalamus sends a message to your pituitary to turn up the volume on LH and FSH, which signals your testicles to produce more testosterone and more sperm. And so you're basically tricking your body into producing more testosterone naturally, which is great because you're not subjecting yourself to the shutdown that you would normally get from traditional testosterone replacement. You also don't affect your fertility levels. So that's another good thing. You know, a lot of guys that are in the 30s or, you know, even 40s that still plan on having kids, you know, obviously fertility is something we have to deal with. But enclomifene's a great medication. I actually did a lab review of a client this past week who back in March, his total testosterone was like low 500s. So he was kind of in a gray area because he's not super low, but he's also not anywhere where we would consider optimal. And 3 months of 1 pill a day of enclomifene, and his total testosterone is now above 1200. So,
I like it.
So, Sean, did you do the research on any of that? Or is this your first time hearing this about what he would recommend?
I mean, we talked briefly about it, but I assumed like once I actually like got more of the medicine and everything, I would see the instructions and research from there.
Okay, so now I would ask, so if you were to go this route, does that mean you would have to go untested, right?
No, I sent him the forms for like what's recommended and not recommended. I probably couldn't use APL, right?
no, you cannot.
Yeah, because that one specifically was on the list because it's WADA tested, and then WRPF is a little different.
Okay.
Might be able to skate up under because it's a 4-to-1 test ratio.
Okay.
But again, you're not really worried about the testosterone to testosterone ratio because you're not putting exogenous testosterone in your body. You're just it's essentially tricking your body into producing more naturally. So it will not affect your testosterone to testosterone ratio at all because your body's going to produce, you know, it's going to increase the production on both of those versus using exogenous or outside testosterone, which would alter that ratio.
You're a little interested, aren't you?
A little curious. I'm thinking.
See a little hamster wheel going.
Yeah. I mean, I want to get mine done soon. I do. After them doing yours, it's like, yeah, I got to do mine.
I mean, like you were around me. You know, I was joking like, my testosterone's not gonna be like low or anything, but it's gonna be nice to like know if I'm like, oh, we did find out I was pre-diabetic. That was part of it. So like knowing that, it's like
you're on the line. So your hemoglobin A1C, which is a measure of blood sugar over the course of 12 weeks, was 5.6. So 4.8 to 5.6 is the normal ratio, the normal area. 5.7 to 6.4 is pre-diabetic. 6.4 and above is diabetic. So you're kind of flirting with the line between normal and pre-diabetic. But your fasted glucose was 89, which is good. We try to keep that below 100. So, but your A1C measures blood sugar over the course of 12 weeks or so.
Yeah, but the goal of this was not to like, I'm going to get some free drugs.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the untested route and really just start throwing weight around.
Right.
But like, it is going to be nice to like actually feel good again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. The people that are in the 200 and 300 range, you know, even the ones like yourself, you know, you wouldn't have guessed that you were that low. That decline happens generally over a longer period of time. It's kind of like cooking a lobster on the stove. You're supposed to put the lobster in the pot with the water and then turn the
while it's alive.
Then turn the burner on.
Yeah.
By the time the lobster knows you can't put a lobster in hot water.
Right.
But if you put it in the water, put it on the stove, turn it on.
Yeah.
No.
By the time the lobster realizes that it's too hot, it's too late.
Yeah.
See, I'm from a different background. I've never just cooked lobster before, so.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm getting from the mountains. What lobster am I going to get? Fun fact.
Not a whole lot of lobsters up there.
But not the ones you want to eat.
Yeah, so that decline in testosterone happens over time, and it's amazing. There's a lot of people that don't realize. They're like, I feel pretty good. They don't realize how far they've dropped until it's corrected, until suddenly their levels are at 1,200, and they're like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Yeah, like I said, like it just feels off.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you did the episode with your friend in Kansas, and you mentioned like athletes and different people who had higher ones drop down, and all of a sudden they feel just off. There's weight gain, there's mood swings, there's the minor hair loss. I mean, thin a little bit on top. That's why I'm wearing a hat right now. The stuff like that, and I was like, let's check it out. Why not? I've been telling Adam for like 2 months now. I've been meaning to get it done.
I say it's about time. We seem like we talk about it every week, and then just waiting for it to come in.
Yeah.
Oh, are you taking any like products or anything? Because I remember you hurt your shoulder a while back. Like, are you still on any like recovery meds or peptides or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm actually currently taking BPC 157. Actually, I have to see the hand surgeon on Tuesday. I have
Ooh, which hospital?
Ortho Virginia.
My wife works there.
Yeah.
Do you know the hand surgeon's name? I'll confirm nor deny if he's good or not. That's a good one, actually. I will say that.
Yeah, well,
he's a great one. I like him all.
He fixed my pinky a couple months ago, and he stuck a needle down in the joint, which usually doctors sugarcoat things.
Mhm.
Like, hey, you may feel some pressure. He just looked at me and goes, yeah, this is gonna suck. I'm like, oh, cool. But so he took care of my pinky. He's a good dude. He's I believe he's the University of Richmond team surgeon. Yeah. So
yeah, he works with all the athletes for all the sports, at all the games.
Yeah, but back to your question. Yeah, I was playing soccer with our 11-year-olds soccer team. They last half of practice, they always scrimmage, and anybody who wants to play gets to play. And I'm like, let's do this. And I played with them for a couple of weeks, but I got tripped up from behind, was running full speed, and came right down on my thumb, which has already been broken 3 times. So, but it's been a month now, and I still have a ton of pain in my thumb. So, yeah, I'm taking BPC 157, which accelerates the regeneration of tissue, bone, muscle, tendon. It's amazing the healing properties that some of these peptides have. Just over a year ago, it was June 6th of last year, I had open rotator cuff surgery on my shoulder, and you can see the big incision, but I had full range of motion back within a week after taking BPC 157 and TB 500, also known as thymosin beta 4. Just between the tissue regen and anti-inflammatory properties, it's truly remarkable the difference it makes. I have a client that's a rugby player who has torn his ACL, I think 3 or 4 times now.
Time to stop.
He just called me. He's like, "Hey man, I did it again. Send me some healing peptides."
He's a regular.
Well, we cut his healing time, his last recovery time on his ACL surgery, in half from what it was previously. So,
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's crazy.
How quickly these peptides can.
So why is that not mainstream?
Because it works. Because Big Pharma would, lose money. But
It's always the money.
But you would think like all the NFL players, NBA, that like they hurt themselves. You think they would be the first ones to get it, but they're still out a year. And was it Antonio Brown missed, or not Antonio Brown? OBJ missed the entire season due to ACL tear, and it's like, couldn't he have just gotten it?
I think they're both on the WADA ban list. I know at least one of them is, which is interesting since BPC 157 is derived from the body protection compound that was essentially pulled out of human stomach acid, gastric juice. So a naturally occurring substance. And then TB500 is basically a synthetic fragment of thymosin beta 4, which is released in the body wherever there's any kind of damage that needs repair. So it helps accelerate healing and the anti-inflammatory properties and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think they're on the ban list.
It's ridiculous. Let's ban stuff that actually helps people.
Unfortunately, that's just kind of how it is, you know. And the nice thing about BPC 157 not only helps with tissue regen, but it can help with a number of stomach conditions, GI issues, like IBS, and Crohn's disease, and leaky gut. So it can, I mean, if you have digestive or GI problems, the BPC can really work wonders. So
could like someone go to their GP and just kind of like ask about this? Like, let's say they're listening to this right now and they have one of those issues. Could they just go to their GP and be like, hey, I heard about this? Like, most or no?
Most physicians honestly don't even know what they would be talking about, unfortunately. You may get, you know, a handful that know what it is, but they're not mass produced. We get them from compounding pharmacies, and they're all 503A FDA accredited compounding pharmacies, but they're medications that are compounded that are patient specific per order. So it's not something you could go to your GP and just grab.
I remember when we were shooting, you were talking to me about it was, I forgot which, it was this one drug that you said that a lot of the actors like that play superheroes that use that you said was, I forgot, you said it was like very helpful for I think women and stuff, but you said they banned it because I forgot what it was called though. You said it was something that like yes.
Yeah, Cardarine is no longer available, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So Cardarine, it's lumped in with SARMs. It's not technically a SARM. It's a PPAR agonist. But it was kind of it would literally increase your cardiovascular endurance, like almost overnight, would lower your bad cholesterol and total cholesterol and triglycerides, and would accelerate fat loss at the same time. Now, if you Google Cardarine, all the stuff that's going to come up is going to say, oh, it causes cancer. If you go read the studies, they gave, I think it was mice. Like, if you give them a comparable dosage, it was like 50 times the comparable human dosage, and they did it for like 84 weeks or something like that. Like, hey, there's a lot of shit that I could take 50 times the normal dose of.
Right.
For 84 weeks that would cause cancer or worse. I mean, you take 50 times the normal amount of aspirin, you're not going to make it a day. So,
it's one hell of a headache.
Yeah.
Now, we do have a medication that's in the same class of compound that's a PPAR agonist. It's tetradecyl thioacetic acid.
Spell it.
No thanks. It's hard enough saying.
Hell no, you made that shit sound easy. I'm like, nah. Run it back.
I know we're having a spelling bee up here. That's gonna be next week at Chaos Lab.
Just know Ryan's the only one's gonna win that one.
Fuck Ryan.
But yeah, so TTA and is available, and it does do a wonderful job of lowering cholesterol and accelerating fat loss, which is, it's kind of a win-win. So that's the Cardarine is what we were talking about. Yeah. We've talked about so many different products though while we've been shooting. It's hard to.
Yeah.
We talked about obviously the GLP-1 agonists, semaglutide and tirzepatide, otherwise known as Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro, which again, it's a lot of that's one of the most common things I get asked if somebody, asks what we do, oh, do you guys do Ozempic? And there's a reason for it. I mean, it's in terms of weight loss, it's unlike anything we have ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have probably 50 clients at this point that have lost 40 pounds or more.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's remarkable. And it improves your blood sugar at the same time because it was originally developed to treat type 2 diabetics.
Was it like rapidly fast over time with the weight loss, or was it?
It's kind of a
based on their lifestyle, maybe.
Lifestyle obviously plays a lot. But here's the thing. In a lot of ways, it forces you to make lifestyle changes. If you eat a bunch of sugar or something that's real greasy or drink too much alcohol, you will feel miserable. And you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that again.
Okay.
But it slows gastric emptying, which means it's going to keep you feeling fuller longer. Enhances the release of insulin from the pancreas, which lowers your blood sugar, prevents the release of glucagon, which is insulin's counterpart that raises your blood sugar. They're truly astounding medications. And then tirzepatide, the new one, on top of being a GLP-1 agonist, is a GIP agonist, or glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide receptor agonist. It's a mouthful.
And you just remembered that like it was
all the time.
But so one of the things it does is it resets your leptin sensitivity, and so it kind of, in a way, it changes your relationship with food. Because resetting your leptin sensitivity kind of breaks that dopamine punishment reward cycle that we go through with food. And so, like you said, obviously lifestyle, exercise, all that kind of stuff plays a big role in weight loss. But in a lot of ways, these medications force people to make necessary changes, or else they're going to feel awful. So that's probably the biggest, outside of, our bread and butter, which is hormone replacement. The GLP-1 agonists are probably our second most popular product.
So who exactly would that be like best suited for?
Anybody trying to lose weight.
So do you work with anyone who would be like prepping for a show that needs like a special, like?
I have a number of competitors that, a lot of them just want to keep an eye on their blood work and make sure they're, obviously that competing is not the, healthiest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
If you're to step on a stage, you're depleted, it's not the healthiest thing in the world. So people want to make sure they're doing the right things. But like our extensive blood work that we do is a lot of the stuff that we do test for, you won't find from your GP, you won't get during a normal, physical or evaluation. And, so we have, I have an IFBB pro that had no idea that thyroid function was like gone. Based on the TSH level, you would assume that the thyroid was working fine, but I have a number of competitors. I have we have a partnership with an awesome guy in Kansas City, Aaron Sawyer, who's a natural athlete. One of those guys that could step on stage and win first place and then go powerlift the next day and win that too.
He needs to come here.
I've been telling him, but we have a number of natural athletes that just want to, check to see where they're at, make sure their levels are okay. I have everything from competitors to people that don't exercise at all.
Mm-hmm. So question real quick, just to sidetrack this while I'm thinking about it. When it comes to these top level athletes that you're kind of like working with, and in our sport, there is a big controversy around, particularly some of the federations that we're affiliated with, like USAPL. Some of the top guys are always accused of being on something, not knowing what it is, but something, even though they're being water tested. Are there things that people can take or know about and get them to that very top percentage, or is it truly just natural gifted talent and genetics?
I honestly don't know. The whole Balco scandal with Barry Bonds and the Clear, which was an oral form of Tren. It was highly modified and completely undetectable until they figured out what was going on. And then obviously once you have the compound, then you can design a test for it. I would not be surprised if there's a number of athletes in a number of professional sports that have the resources to, get a hold of compounds that are specifically designed to elude testing. I can't say for sure. I have no idea. But I would not be surprised if there were at least a handful out there that are taking something that we don't currently know about or don't have a test for, is not at all mainstream.
Would you say there's like a bracket to the level of chemical compounds you can take versus, so like, let's say how we talked about Tren and Anavar earlier, there's a lot of anabolic levels to it, and there's a lot of byproducts of that, right? That's probably one of the higher end. It's also probably very expensive. Is there something on the lower end that would then be classified as like, well, you're not really doing anything bad, but you're not really doing anything great?
Not really. I mean, everything that you're talking about, there's only a certain number of categories that would fall under, whether it's some kind of androgen or anabolic steroid that's either a testosterone derivative or a derivative of DHT, or some kind of estrogen receptor modulator like in clomiphene, that one of the byproducts is raising natural testosterone levels. And there's only a certain number of therapeutic targets, so to speak, is, where you could try to improve performance. But there's a limited amount of categories that those things would fall under.
So is it easy to tell that somebody is on gear? Like, can you just look at them and just say, yeah, they're on gear?
Or just something at all? Like, even if just like you notice that the recovery on a normal injury could take usually 6 months, but for some reason they're done in 4, they're done in 3. Could you be like, well, that's exactly this compound?
It's kind of a case by case basis. There are guys that you're like, yeah, you're clearly on something. You look for side effects, acne, just change of behavior. But no, it's a case by case basis. There are people absolutely, like the guy I just talked about, Aaron Sawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never believed he was natural unless I saw his blood work myself. Like, he has that impressive of a physique that I'm like, no way, this guy's natural. And we got his blood work done, and I'm like, shit, okay, good for you. So,
have you seen anyone in our gym that it looks like they're on something? You don't have to like describe it. Just say if you yes or no.
I don't really pay attention. I have to pay attention now. I'm going to start.
Yeah.
We used to do it in the AM fan. We'd be like, Clay, him.
Yeah. It was definitely a couple of guys. Honestly, yeah, it would be like how they look, and then also just how they act in the gym too. It's like, yeah, they're on some shit.
Some people make it obvious.
Yeah.
But honestly, when I'm working out, like my wife and I always work out together, so my focus is on her, and I don't really care about the people around me.
We can't forget about the other part of Pinnacle's strength.
So
we talk about that as well, her role.
I was gonna suggest that we do something here. So I was gonna say, you find an influencer and click on their picture and ask him if he thinks they're natural. And I was gonna do the same thing.
All right. While we're doing that, explain your wife's role in everything that you guys do.
I already have somebody lined up, and I know you already know who I have lined up, so you can't pick them.
Okay.
You know exactly who I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my wife, my better half, is the other part of Pinnacle, and we both have always had a passion for helping people.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of keeps the train pointed in the right direction and keeps the wheels on the track, so to speak. She keeps things organized. I'm good at a lot of stuff. I'm good at the science part of things, but organization is not my forte.
Yeah.
So she's the glue that holds everything together in business and in our family. So she's a great partner to have. So
How did you guys meet?
Yeah, explain the love story here.
So she did a number of bikini competitions,
Mhm.
and her coach for those was actually a former teammate of mine in college.
Mhm.
And so that's how we met. And that was that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you know, you know.
And then how did
Fair.
how did Pinnacle Health and Performance come together?
Like I briefly mentioned, I was tired of answering to people whose only focus was making money, to the point where they were willing to, let patient care decline.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention tired of people that push these cookie cutter, one size fits all packages that,
Just do the sales pitch.
Exactly. It's here's the difference. When I have people that come to me and they'll ask me about a certain product, hey, what do you think about this? If it's not going to benefit them, or there's a better product out there, I'm going to tell them that.
Right.
I don't care. I don't worry about money. Like, you take really good care of people, and everything else falls into place.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm tired of playing that game, and decided that there was a better way to do things, and took a leap of faith, and here we are 2 years later, and truly blessed with the people we're surrounded by, and the people we've met along the way. So we just, the whole common theme that you'll hear, whether it's in our emails, whether it's our clips on Instagram, is the whole family concept. Welcome to the Pinnacle family. It's not a punchline. It's not, that's how we see our people. I know spouses' names and kids' names and where they go to school and I know all these details about my clients. One of the best quotes that I've heard is, your clients don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So genuinely taking care of people is important to us, to the point where, there have been times we've had success stories that, I've walked in the other room to tell my wife, and I have tears in my eyes, because we've literally changed somebody's life.
Mm.
And, I get text messages about, dude, I haven't felt this good in 20 years. Like, I wish I did this earlier. Like, my wife's happier, my kids are happier. That's why I do what I do. That's the shit that I live for.
Yeah.
Is to get, texts from people like that, or success stories. And the best representation of that is, for the first year and a half in business, I did zero marketing. Like, no advertising, no nothing. It was all, we were growing so fast just based on direct organic referrals. And that's the best compliment that I can get, is if I take care of a client, they're like, hey, you take care of my mom, my brother, my sister, my best friend, my buddy at work, my business partner. You get, these people that will send you people that they care about.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to do that unless, you took good care of them, and they believe in you and what you're doing. So that's we have, because of that, we have clusters of clients across the country that, Kansas City's a big one, just because that's where I'm from. obviously the Richmond area, but we have a very large group of people in North Carolina. Probably have 30 people that came from a single client that I've been working with for a long time. Shout out to Henry. And then the same thing down in the Atlanta area. I have a long-time client down there named Chris who sent me a number of people, and they sent me a number of people, and it just kind of spider webs out like that. So, it's cool when you people trust you and they believe in what you're doing, and in return you get to change somebody's life.
Yeah,
it's special. It's a very cool thing to be a part of.
Yep.
Completely understand. And that's why we do what we do.
Exactly.
I mean, our sign literally says "Welcome home."
Yeah.
Every member is a family member. I know everyone's name. I know their workout schedule. I know what their snacks are. I know what their attempts are in their lifts.
So people do kind of ask us like how we kind of did what we did, because we don't necessarily have we don't have the follower count. We don't have like the Instagram famous that you would normally think that people that like gym owners normally have and stuff. But honestly, it's literally just connections. We literally just.
But we're genuine.
We're genuine, but it's just literally it's people that we have talked to and have just we befriended the like important people that have helped us get here for years, and have just always asked it, and we've always asked them straight up like how and what their opinions are on certain things, and that, and they always ask the same thing from us, and we always kept it straight with them, and they kept it straight with us. And
I mean, that's how it was at American Pro. We went and we literally saw CT Whitley of Power Build.
Oh yeah.
And we're like, hey, we gotta go talk to him. Like, we got to know how he built his gym to be how it is. How did he keep the culture? How did he keep the marketing? How did he get the merchandise, the lifters to go there? And that was like, what, 2 weeks before we even opened?
Yeah. No, because we never asked, like, I don't think we ever asked people like their individual success. We always asked them like business success questions, in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, we never, like, I never ask people, hey, how did you grow your Instagram?
Right.
I'm more so asked like, what's the best, like, when it comes to like asking like content creators and stuff, I'm like, what is the best thing that you did that helped you like really grow your business? Like, what was the one thing that you did that helped you took off and that you said, yeah, I'm gonna just run with this? Like, what was that one thing you found that worked for you the best?
Right.
Because that's like, because you'll always genuinely get a different answer every time.
Yeah, the one thing that separates them from
Exactly. No, exactly. Yeah.
But Sean, you hit it on the head. That was exactly the word that I was going to use about you guys, was genuine.
Yeah.
And that's why we love you. What you're doing here. And, more and more these days, I realize I just want to be surrounded by a small number of good people.
Mm-hmm.
Like Austin from Gym Flow.
Love Austin.
Yeah.
He's good people, man.
Yep.
So, you guys here at Chaos, and I mean, even Theo across the street at Pre-Nutrition, he's an awesome guy. I truly just want to be surrounded by a small.
Theo still ain't been here yet.
I see him in his van all the time with the dog out the window.
Still ain't been over here yet. I just thought about that.
You know what's crazy? Like, so I didn't know Austin before this at all. I think Clay maybe ran into him a couple of times at Iron Built, but it was always just like I saw him, didn't speak to him, nothing. I thought like he's busy doing something, especially with all the supplements,
which he always was. Even at Iron Built, he was always doing
in the back room.
Whether it was Austin is somebody that's always working, whether it is creating content, whether it's working out, or whether it's just.
So he got like 2 podcasts, like YouTube channels.
He's so consistent. He's so dialed in. He's just so consistent with everything that he's doing, and he doesn't miss a beat with any of his work. No,
I mean, like, just the same. After the first time inviting him out, he connected with you guys.
Yeah,
and I mean, if he's not sending us products down here to show people, he's sending an ambassador. He's showing up himself. Gym Flow is everywhere.
We always hear from him. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but again, it's genuine people that are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Yep.
When it comes to the powerlifting scene and gym atmosphere, this place is the best.
Yeah.
I remember and I joked about it. The first time I met Austin was here at, that meet. I walked across and I grabbed one of his tubs of pre-workout because I'm, I've got a biochem degree and emphasis in pharmacology, and I'm a supplement snob, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let's see what this guy's really about.
Yeah.
Like I can read his ingredients list on his workout. I can tell you whether he knows the stuff or not. And I was like, okay, I'm impressed. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love Overcome, and we love his pump products.
The pump is no matter what pre-workout I have, I'm always putting the scoop of the pump in there.
Always. I actually tried Overcome for the first time last night during flag football, men's flag football. It was perfect. It was delicious. It was great.
Oh yeah. We run through the tub, like just daily use, workouts. Well, I did during the 10K. Like I just put it in a Camelback and I was just sipping on it because, Lord.
You need to get like a big icy machine for behind the front desk.
Oh,
Overcome ices.
That'd go crazy.
It's only for $12 a cut.
$12 a cut.
Even a Trin coffee, you don't cut that shit out.
Man, look, I have been going through it this week.
Lay off the drugs.
Oh my gosh.
You want to know why he's going to nationals, ladies and gentlemen? Listen to that cough.
Try some of the filter next time.
You have your person that you were going to ask?
You go first, because I feel like I don't want to have the same person.
Yeah, you should know who I have.
I don't want to have the same person by accident. You might fake me out. Just go ahead and go.
All right, so I'm gonna. You think he's natural?
My gut feeling is no.
So I showed him. We can put a bigger picture, but I showed him Russell Orhe. So he is five-time 83 kg Raw national champion and 2-time world champion in his weight class. And he's like a obviously top level lifter, so he gets randomly drug tested. I'm talking like they pull up to he owns a gym in Texas. I'm talking like they pull up to him on his gym just on a random day and say, yeah, we're going to drug test you.
Yeah, USAPL powerlifting, they have out of like whatever the drug testing protocol is, they can pull up anytime, any place. Like if you were to go out of town, you're actually supposed to let them know. That way, in case they want to drug test you while you're out of town, they can pull up with someone from that state or that area.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happened here in this gym where one of our athletes got pulled. She's just trying to catch a lift, and he's like, "Hey, you need to go to the bathroom real quick."
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he's obviously been getting drug tested for all these years, and so he's
a whole lot of good genetics.
He's never been popped, but obviously, even to this day, people still think that he's not natural. And
some of that's just crazy genetics, man.
Yeah.
Like that's like Aaron Sawyer that I mentioned. Like that's the kind of physique he has, and you're like, that guy's not natural.
Right.
Until you see his blood work, and it's like, shit, okay.
Yeah.
People will say like because of his physique. So he is. I don't want to say because he's probably gonna put this on the internet, but he is fairly short. He is like 5'5", something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's perfect for powerlifting because the man squats in the high 7s, deadlifts in the high 7s, has a low floor bench, like maybe 424.
I think he
looks like that. Like he has damn near an 8-pack. Pecs look like an action figure.
Yeah.
Like genetics look like it played a huge key, but it's like
he's like a stock.
Is he on something that we don't know about because it is that bracket of elite athlete?
He has a football background. Like he played running back and stuff in high school, and he quit in college. But yeah, so he has he has a football background. So like he's like, I've never seen him in person, but I think from what people like this when they describe him in person, he's like really just short and stocky in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
and so he's like our age. But he's putting up those kind of numbers, and it's like.
But again, off first glance, he doesn't think he's natural.
Whole lot of good genetics.
So you went Batman. I went Robin.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait. So did you have him up first though?
No. So like I thought about it, and I was like, maybe you're gonna go a different route.
Right.
But so he is all of 6'1", 6'2", just turned 21, about 210 pounds. And the boy's putting up 800 on squats and deads, mid-fours, benches. Like, he went to Texas, all of a sudden, this is what happened. He's been in Texas for about a year now with Russell. This is Sean Mills, a.k.a. Wheeze. Or...
I could believe he's natural.
You think because of his frame, it holds a little better? In that case, if he was like Russ and a little bit more stocky.
Yeah, he's got a different shaped frame.
So like people do meet him, the arms and like thigh size is what really catches everyone. Like he's a massive guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a big dude.
Yeah.
I could believe he's natural though.
To my knowledge, I don't think he played sports. I think he actually went to Penn State just as a normal student, picked up working out. Then someone found him and was like, hey, you're kind of strong. Like, do powerlifting. Starts winning national championships in both junior and teen.
I think, yeah.
And then now he's in Texas, and he probably will take the overall national title in his weight class.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know where he ranks, really.
I mean, he's highly competitive.
Yeah. But you say, all glance, you think he's natural. Okay.
I can believe it, yeah.
Yeah. Because he lifts through the same federation as Russ Wohl, but I don't think that he is that top, like, caliber. I mean, he's fairly strong, like, in his weight class and his division, but I don't think he's, like, one of those that's getting randomly drug tested as frequently as Russ Wohl is, so, yeah.
To me, it's all just about, like, if, like you said, if they have the compound and they have the test, I mean, there's a way to get around it. How many people are really getting around it? And would it really surprise us if some of these people actually do get around it?
Truth always comes out eventually.
Right.
So all it takes is one chemist that wants to make some money and willing to put their morals aside.
Yeah.
But again, I couldn't call it either way.
So who's a sports figure or someone in bodybuilding, even in powerlifting, strongman, that would surprise you if they were on some type of anabolic steroid?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't have a name off the top of my head.
What if Pat Mahomes was taking it?
No, I'd be surprised.
He definitely took something in that AFC Championship game.
You knew exactly what I was talking about.
He took some illegal ass shit for that ankle, yo.
Did you see the Chiefs at the White House?
Yes.
That was hilarious.
So I watched
Travis Kelce.
Oh,
I listened to the podcast.
Nope, sorry. Guys.
I listened to the podcast. As soon as they were talking about that, he's like, I'm going to national treasure the White House office. And I'm like, oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Man, I almost get thrown off stage.
That's great. They don't play, man. They don't care who you are.
I mean, they let him in. So Travis Kelce went into the White House with an expired driver's license.
From Ohio.
You really?
He's been in Missouri long enough. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Expired 2018 license, I think they said.
He's lost it for like a while now. He just has not just cared to get replaced. And so they let him in. It was cool, but like as soon as he tried to touch that podium,
he's like, all right.
Pat was all over it.
Oh, my God.
So you don't think he's on anything at all? Again, that's the upper echelon. That's $500 million quarterback.
That's a lot of money. I don't. I would be surprised.
He's on the limitless pill. He's on something.
I don't know. Some people are just born differently, man.
If only I could mimic his voice. Kermit the Frog voice.
The Frog.
No, I have nothing wrong with the Chiefs. I really do like Jason and Travis Kelce, like them together. I didn't mind the Eagles either, so it was a good Super Bowl all the way around.
So I have a question. What do you think, like, when it comes to, do you think that drug tests draws a line in some sports? So do you think, like, some sports you don't really have to necessarily drug test as far as like looking for steroids or anything?
Yeah, there's probably some, I don't know.
So my thing is mine is basketball. So here's my thing. I want to say it was was it this? I think it was this. Yes. Okay. So it was this year. When Donovan Mitchell, when he had 70 points, and he got drug tested literally immediately. Like I think either immediately, like right after the game, or like the day after. And
That typically happens.
but I don't know much, but I don't know if there is possibly any way that there's a drug out there that can make a basketball player shoot lights out.
I mean, it's not that. It's the other stuff, the recovery. So like the peptides, how do you say the word before, quarantine earlier? Like something that helps your cardiovascular health the entire game.
Okay, but
So it's not like this man got in the gym got
Although it would be hard to grab a rebound on some 6'10", 300-pound roided out monster.
that
Look like
yes.
space.
okay, that like that
on star.
but that makes sense. But it's just another instance happened with Damian Lillard, where he went on a crazy scoring run where he was getting like it's like 50 one night and 60 one night and 50 another night and stuff, and then like he gets drug tested. But it's just like he was getting drug tested like rapidly. Like he was getting like drug tested like twice in the same week kind of shit. And it's kind of just like, what out there is it that he can take to make him shoot a basketball better?
Something that we can't afford.
But is it really possibly something out there that can help that? Because to me, I think that's just too much of a natural skill to really say that a drug can help you shoot better. And if so, why the fuck do I not know about it? Because damn it, the Lakers wouldn't need me.
Well, you get stuff like dihexa, which we do a lot of. It has anti-dementia properties, but it's shown to improve memory, improve creativity. I mean, could you make the argument that something like that maybe could help hand-eye coordination? I don't know.
Yeah.
See, I knew he would just know a drug too.
You're right. That's why I asked that question.
You don't remember what he said, did you?
No, I did. Yeah, dementia, hand-eye coordination, and
What was the name of the drug?
I don't remember the name of the drug. I can't remember shit. And I wanted to ask him to spell it, but I was like, nah, don't do it.
He's not going to.
Yeah.
I mean, so like soccer players don't get drug tested like that. Like you hear the guy
Really?
from Man City who scored 4 goals in one game multiple times.
Really?
Yeah, he broke the record this season for single scoring record.
See, I would think in soccer they would get drug tested.
Why?
Recovery.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing as basketball. It's a stellar performance. They just don't. They also don't care. Same thing with strongman. Most of those guys are on something.
No shit.
I'm just saying. But every other sport has a protocol for it.
Yeah.
I mean, for like football, I mean, they were only looking for street drugs. At least mine. I don't know what your school did at that time, but like they were only looking for street drugs, and occasionally they would have a anabolic one. Now it's just standard. They're going to face you, piss in the cup, boom. You'll know in like a day or two.
It's just so widespread these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was my question. You got anything else?
What would you say is your biggest success story thus far in on this journey of hormone optimization?
Before you get into this, do you need tissues?
Do we need
No.
tissues? Well, like as a crier.
We have a client in North Carolina, and so I've been working with his brother for a long time, and his brother's made some outstanding improvements. I mean, just mind-blowing results from the testosterone replacement stuff. But he was pushing his brother on me for a long time. His brother was hesitant. So finally we got his brother signed up, And during his consult, he went through, because I always ask people, like, just tell me kind of where you're at as far as your fitness journey and what you're looking to get out of treatment. And he went off for like an hour about his leg. He had been in several car accidents, several of which he wasn't actually in a car. Had CRPS, chronic regional pain syndrome. His leg atrophied to like nothing. Talk about how he couldn't, he needed to train his leg in order to reverse the atrophy and build its muscle back, but it would just destroy. He would be in so much pain. He'd be out of commission for a week. He wouldn't be able to, treat. He couldn't train it enough to build muscle tissue. But the thing that got me was, he said, my daughter has no idea what it's like to play with her dad because my leg's been broken for so long. So I immediately called Dr. Branscombe after his consult, and I said, we have to do something about this. Like, we have to figure this out. And his brother called me at Christmas time and said, I just watched my brother walk upstairs. He was,
holy
that's
shit.
huge. Like, when we get to change somebody's life like that and give him the ability to play with his daughter and walk upstairs normally without needing serious assistance, like, that's why we do what we do.
That just makes you want to do it over and over again.
Yeah. So that's the one that I usually talk about, just because, when he was talking about his daughter and not being able to play with her and not be able to run around with her, and it definitely, it pulls on your heartstrings. But just the fact that we've been able to make such a big difference, I have, he sent me clients since then, and those clients have been like, if I hadn't watched the transformation, I would have never believed it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like I said, we have a number of clients that have lost 40 or 50 pounds or more. It's truly remarkable, and even like some of the other stuff that we do that I haven't mentioned, like hair loss. I put together a custom hair loss medication that one of the pharmacies compounds for us, and I have a client that sent me before and afters, and I mean, he lost a bunch of weight and put on a bunch of muscle. I'm like, dude, look at your hairline. Like, even your hair's improved. Everything got better. So we have success stories all across the board, but when you can really affect someone's life in that way and improve, it's pretty special.
That's incredible.
Yeah, we haven't done anything to that effect. I mean, I love watching people come in here and feel like they're a part of something way bigger than themselves.
Yeah. And
like, we get to watch them come in, make friends, go hang out with those friends, train for a meet, and just like today, can complete that journey of doing a meet and be like, if I had to meet you guys, I probably wouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that that's like, wow, I'm so glad I took the leap I did. I mean, there's times where it's like, Sean, what the hell did you do? But like, I mean,
no,
you would not give it up for the world. No, we feel some of the times that we do.
We've definitely had a couple of members that just come in and said that it's really just, they, in a sense, they found like they're not necessarily their best friends, but they found like a certain friend group that they love to be around that they didn't necessarily have before this. Because I think we harp so much on just like building the community and being together, just very supportive in that, to where just a lot of these friendships are just, I think you can say now that a couple of these people, a couple of friendships have been made to where like, yeah, that's one of my best friends, like right now kind of stuff. And that we've also just made, I think also the biggest thing that we want to do is make people feel comfortable with what they're doing, and that, just come here and just be yourself. Obviously don't be a dick about it, but be yourself and be comfortable with what you're doing, and don't ever feel like you can't ask us a question, because we'll give you the whole book right then and there. You ask us a question on stuff like, whether it just be about a lift, or just about equipment recommendations or just like what you do on the regular and just like what helps with that kind of stuff. Like we want to help. We want you to be able to feel as though you have like not necessarily knowledge, but just like the confidence to be like, okay, yeah, I can do that, and to where, okay, yeah, I feel comfortable doing that, and I want to compete. Because I think the coolest part about it is that like some people that came here and they either didn't know about powerlifting or they kind of just started to learn about it and like immediately like wanted to sign up for a meet instantly, kind of, which is cool. Like for instance,
Kevin,
yeah,
Kevin from Gold,
or Juju, Juju Mean. You know, I did a what I do?
a little biography thing for
Yeah, member spotlight. I did a little member spotlight on her, so it's on Instagram. But she talked about how like she literally started powerlifting, I think like right when we opened, and she was at Goals for a little bit and kind of hated it, and she wasn't obviously friends with Kareem, who's a powerlifter, and like kind of like introduced the sport to her a little bit, and she was a little interested. And then once she found that Kareem was going to start coming here, she was like, okay, I'll come check it out. And checked it out, got a membership, loved it, and then like I think a month in, she like immediately signed up for a meet.
Yeah,
like within that, I think it was like within that month, she like found a coach, and then immediately like, okay, I want to do a meet. And out of like the girl group that she's in, all of them were like kind of into powerlifting before, but you know they're kind of just like, and they're kind of on the fence of like wanting to compete and stuff. She's just like, nah, I want to do it, and it's like.
Now they're all signed up for meets.
Now that yeah, like they kind of felt that like, well, dang, if like she can do it, then I'm gonna do it too, kind of. And I mean, she killed it her first meet, and it was fun. And it's just, you know, I remember talking to her going into it. She obviously was nervous and stuff. I'm like, I mean, it's not necessarily nervous, but you're really just anxious. But I'm telling you that your road for this is so much easier than all of us when we started, because all of us started kind of like in an environment where we didn't know anything about, and we kind of just felt kind of like
outcast
and kind of like alone, kind of like in our bubble and stuff at our first meet. But
you saw us at Amfan, we'd be in the corner by ourselves,
right,
just holding on to one power bar.
Like didn't really have friends that were really going to see what we were doing, and didn't really know much of what we were doing. But I'm telling her, I'm like, you're literally going to be lifting not only in front of your family, but also like your immediate family, but also your gym family, because literally it's in our facility. So many members that are your friends here are going to be there and supporting you, to where it's honestly, it might not even feel like a meet. It's going to feel like a mock meet. It's going to feel like you're doing RPE 9s on every single lift, and we're all just there, just cheering you. We're all just there screaming for you and cheering you on. Exactly. It's not even going to feel like a meet. So it's like we've set it up for members here to where yes, it's a meet, but it's just you feel comfortable and you don't feel like an outcast for when you're competing here.
Well, I think you guys, just based on the atmosphere that you guys have created here,
yeah,
that's the feeling that's in this gym all the time.
Right.
Is, you know, well, because powerlifting's frowned on in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many times I've been kicked out of Planet Fitness or Lifetime Fitness or you know, one of those big box gyms. You know, what are you doing? Deadlifts? Yeah, we don't do that here. I'm like, why?
Get out.
Right.
You're too loud.
I'll tell you what, you pull this once, I'll leave.
Yeah.
But no, you guys have created this atmosphere here. Plus, like you said, people come up to you and ask questions because you guys are genuine. And it's cool being able to impact somebody like that. You know, when you guys all left AmFam, my wife and I were like, yeah, where'd all the cool guys go? Like they just disappeared one day. What happened? So, and then, you know, obviously we found you guys here, and in the process I've gotten to know you guys better. But it's cool. It's cool being a part of something like that. It's cool, you know, what we get to do and transform and change people's lives and, you know, get people feeling their best. I mean, you want to talk about a transformation that we should address? What about the picture behind me of my wife? That photo shoot was done 12 weeks after giving birth to her fourth. And I remember sending people pictures of that photo shoot, and they're like, "Is that your wife?" Yep. Wasn't she just pregnant? Yep. Okay. So she's an anomaly. You talk about a hard worker and good genetics, but that's for 12 weeks. That's insane. So, now she's squatting 270 pounds or whatever. So
She's getting ready for a meet suit.
She'd hop on the stage back before she goes in a meet.
She could do both. She could definitely do both.
You got options.
Well, to kind of wrap this up, tell people how they can actually find you guys, what the process kind of entails. Is it super expensive? And then what you guys kind of provide from that and, other than your Instagram page.
Yeah. So you can find us on Instagram. It's Pinnacle Health Performance. We usually post daily, and we've been posting a lot of educational content about certain medications or certain lab testing or common myths with testosterone replacement. Our website is pinnaclehealthperformance.com. You can also email us at info@pinnaclehealthperformance.com. But the process is really straightforward and a lot more affordable than most people think. So we start off with comprehensive labs like we did with you. Our initial lab panel is $200. I think right now if you get it from LabCorp directly, it's north of $900. So we do comprehensive labs. You get a lab draw script in your email. You literally walk into any LabCorp location and scan the barcode at the top. They take your blood. We get results in generally 4 to 7 days, at which point I always schedule a intake call. I'll reach out and either over the phone or via Zoom, we'll walk somebody through the labs line by line and say, hey, this is what looks good. This is what this is. This is what this does. This is what we could optimize. And we do a quick 20-minute Zoom consult with our medical director, Dr. Branscombe. Shout out to Dr. Branscombe because he's the other arm of this, group. We're incredibly lucky to have such an amazing doctor on staff. He was a teammate of mine in college and just a brilliant guy, but he's a good old boy from Arkansas. So he's just as nice as it gets. So, but yeah, we do a Zoom consult with Dr. Branscombe and myself. It takes 20 minutes. We put together a plan. Everything is shipped to your doorstep. So as far as cost goes, there's the initial lab panel that's $200. There's a once a year physician's fee that's $225. After that, you're just responsible for the cost of medications and follow-up labs. So everything's based on what you're doing. We can tailor a plan to fit any budget, but honestly, a lot of the basic stuff is very inexpensive. 20 weeks of testosterone replacement is less than $300 for 5 months worth. So, and that includes shipping and supplies and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a pretty straightforward process. We try to make it real easy for people. We put together a plan for them based on their labs and their goals, and everything's shipped to their doorstep, and we get to watch the transformations happen. It's pretty cool.
Fantastic. Is there anyone else you would like to shout out on this podcast before we close out?
Ooh. I think I've mentioned most everybody. Shout out to Ryan Waters, who owns 100 Gym in Lee Summit, Missouri. He was basically our first partner as far as gym owners go, and has probably sent us 40-something clients. So Ryan's a great guy. If you're ever in the KC area, you got to check his gym out. Again, just another genuinely good person who cares about their clients and is doing things the right way. So big shout out to Ryan.
Okay. Clay, anyone?
Oh, the shout out?
Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, I'm going to say thank you to all the staff that helped out today during the meet.
Okay,
There's
sure.
Jacob
Yeah. All right.
and Sydney.
Shout out the staff. Shout out the members. Blah, blah. Yeah.
Thank you, Kadeem and Tristan, for staying here to film this podcast, and the lovely Adriana over there, freezing.
Yeah. I was looking up. I kept seeing her.
She was wearing the shirt, and then all of a sudden the shirt came over the arm. And I was like, wait a minute.
I thought about suggesting to turn the fans off. I was like, I don't know.
It's okay. I generally keep the thermostat set at like 64 at home, so
Oh God.
she needs me
So
for it.
that's fine
I'm a
because
furnace.
I like
I'm
wearing
a
hoodies.
furnace. I do too. Something about shorts and a hooded sweatshirt. I like hooded sweatshirt, but
I mean, I'm always wearing y'all.
I'm
So
cool with that, but at the same so my thing is when my feet are cold, I hate that.
put some socks on.
Yeah, but then but even when I got socks on, you got to double up, and I hate that.
we should.
Is it your eye dot? See, we knew you were fucked up.
Yeah,
Just say we need to check his iron
thyroid.
levels.
I was gonna say thyroid
yeah, it probably.
regulation of body temperature. That's a big thyroid.
Or is also because Laurel, my girlfriend, likes to keep. If I'm not looking, she would try to put that apartment at 66 degrees, and I'm like, absolutely not. 66 degrees with the fan on,
He's hit. Just take the labs, Clay.
like, absolutely ridiculous.
I try to keep it at 65 or 64 with a fan on.
Never.
I am literally a furnace.
Adam, I'm sorry. If you ever invite me inside your house, I will politely decline. I'm terribly sorry.
If I
wearing a
invite you
pinnacle
over,
hoodie,
I'll turn it up.
Alrighty, that's it. I hope everyone enjoyed this stellar
guys for tuning
podcast.
in.
We'll definitely have Adam back on, and next time we'll probably bring Adriana on here to also talk.
Yep.
You're going to get over the shyness.
Yep.
Alrighty, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for having me.
Who the fuck's picking the weight?